Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans.
Welcome to a very special episode of Grand Sumo Breakdown. It's that time of year where we all gather together as friends and family and give thanks for large Japanese and Mongolian men bashing into each other and sometimes using beer bottles or karaoke remotes or nothing at all, depending on who you're talking to. That's right, we are talking about the Grand Harumafuji scandal, but before we get to that, my name is Ryan.
I'm Mac.
This is Jake.
This is Flerick.
And there's been many names floating around out there. Some people call it Brawlgolia. Other people are calling it Dokozuna. Even some still are calling it Gori Totori. But we here at Grand Sumo Breakdown are calling it Harumagazi. So does somebody want to pretty much give our listeners an idea of what's going on with Harumafuji?
No.
We don't. The thing is,
We'd rather forget it.
know what's going on. This is a scandal.
Yeah, so it's a scandal that is either a very big deal and violent, depending who you're talking to, or not nearly as bad if you're talking to some others. So basically, here's what we know. Here are the facts. Takanoiwa was Kyujo for the Kyushu Basho, which means he did not participate. He pulled out, and this kind of took people by surprise. Didn't really know why.
There wasn't any news of injury before the announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they announced they're going to be Kyujo, they hand in like a medical note, pretty much saying what your injuries are. And when people read that, it's like, oh, wait a second, this looks like someone got like assaulted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Is that what prompted the
That's
initial?
that's what kind of prompted
eyebrow
the
lift?
initial
Like, what is this?
investigation into it?
Right, because it didn't really come out what had actually happened, or even the first story of events didn't come out until like what, day 2, day 3, somewhere.
Day 3, I think.
So Harumafuji.
we should describe what the injuries were.
I was gonna get to that because that's kind of
That's
up in
part
the
of
air
the,
at this point. I just want to get
That's
the facts out there, what we know for sure. So after day 2, Harumafuji started 0-2. He pulled out. Initially, I thought, oh, he must be injured worse than we thought.
He's had a history
coming out,
yeah.
but then kind of as day 3 went on, you got the information that Takanoiwa apparently was in a hospital, allegedly with a skull fracture, due to a brawl with Harumafuji that happened on October 26th, where Harumafuji allegedly hit Takanoiwa with a beer bottle. And so Harumafuji does admit to the assault on Takanoiwa. He apologizes to Takanoiwa's stable master, Takanoiwa's stable, the Japan Sumo Association, and Harumafuji stable master. But specifically, he does not apologize to Takanoiwa.
Interesting.
No.
The Japan Sumo Association said it will investigate, but it will not hand out any rulings during the Kyushu Basho. And Takanohana, Takanoiwa's stable master, said that he accepts Harumafuji's apology, but he will not cancel his police report. And basically, that is like the only facts that we have. Pretty much everything else is hearsay by Takanohana or Hakuho. There's just a couple different versions of what actually happened.
It should be noted, Takanohana is a stable master now, but he was actually one of the most successful Yokozuna in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So he's got a lot of I believe he's kind of a controversial figure, but he's definitely got a lot of prestige to him.
Yeah. So let's kind of just start with Takanohana's side of things. He's saying that Takanoiwa was being disrespectful to the Yokozuna. I've heard that he wasn't getting off his phone. Like Harumafuji said, respect your elders, like get off your phone. Takanoiwa refused to do that.
You should listen when your elders are speaking, I think was one of the phrases that came out.
Yeah. I've also heard a rumor that Takanoiwa said, like, your time is up, like...
Something about the new generation, right?
Your time's finished.
None of that is confirmed. These are just rumors that we've heard. But Harumafuji did not appreciate this. They were quite drunk, and he bashed him over the head with a beer bottle and like followed him to the ground and was repeatedly punching him and stuff like that. Takanoiwa competed at the next Jungyo day, I believe, and really didn't go to the hospital.
It was 11 days.
Yeah, until November 2nd or something like that. And so that's what Takanohana's kind of side of the story is. And then a couple days after all this news came out, Hakuho says there's no beer bottle involved. Like, he was holding a beer bottle and it like slipped out of his hand, and then he started beating up Takanoiwa. But yeah, Hakuho says Hakuho's the one who broke it apart. He apologized for not breaking it apart any sooner. So according to Hakuho, no beer bottle was involved whatsoever. Asashoryu, who it should be noted was not there in any way whatsoever, tweeted that there was no beer bottle used at all.
That kind of reeks of just backing up his countrymen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all Mongolian. It was like a Mongolian only party after that.
It was a drinking party.
So Kakuryu was there, Terunofuji was there. Any other names that you guys know for sure?
Those
probably every single Mongolian on the
Dojo. I mean, there's a handful
the regional
more.
tour. Yeah.
But the big players: Hakuho, Haramufuji, Takanoiwa. I mean, big deal that Kakuryu is there. I think I allegedly heard Haramufuji was kind of blaming the disrespect on Kakuryu.
I thought that was allegedly. Like he looks down at Kakuryu and was just like, "This is your fault.
You're not
they're
showing
looking down on
leadership.
us.
Yeah.
You're not stepping up to where you should be."
Yeah. And kind of the latest thing that's going on that came out just a day or so ago is now apparently the doctor's saying there was no skull fracture at all and that he was cleared to compete like 2 weeks after this incident happened, which was on October 26th, which means he
would have been before the Basho.
In this Basho. So there's just a whole lot of stuff going on. Oh, also apparently a karaoke remote may have been used at some point. I don't know when that got released.
When
but
did that come in?
I don't know, like a day or two ago. I don't remember when that came out. So I just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on this whole thing.
I guess my thought on it is like the weapon and the circumstances keep changing, but the fact is that it sounds like Haramufuji did actually assault Takanoiwa.
And he did admit to that during his apology, his public apology.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that is true, and so that is as far as being a yokozuna, assaulting someone is not a very honorable thing to do.
No,
I think it's very shameful. It's a very bad thing.
Right. I do think there are levels to it, though. I think that if he did like break somebody's skull with a beer bottle, that's obviously much worse than just like getting in a light bar brawl. But it could be either end of that spectrum, anywhere in between. There's so much unknown, and the scandal's moving so fast that I don't know how much we can really predict based on today.
But that something definitely did happen, and that he felt enough remorse and shame that he pulled out of the tournament. I mean, he's no longer competing after day 3. That was it. He issued his apology, and that's it.
But if it is something where it was more of a mild scuffle or something like that, is just that enough for him to be forced out, you think?
I mean, it depends. What I've heard is like if he ends up arrested for this, because Takanohana is not like pulling back his police report, and it sounds like they're filing charges.
Yeah, legal action is underway.
He's arrested. I think the JSA will probably kind of coerce him to retire, and that kind of moves me on to the next point I wanted to talk about: is Haramufuji done in sumo wrestling?
I think so. I think given his performances in the last few Basho, though he won the last one, I'll give him that. He's still given up a lot of Kimboshi.
Yeah, I mean, he did win the last one, but with 11-4, was it?
Yeah.
And with all the other Yokozuna out?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still giving. I think he's still doing some really good sumo. It's questionable whether or not maybe it's Yokozuna level, where he's getting like 13 or so wins each Basho, but it seems like he's getting double-digit win every time with a lot of really good wins. He just keeps losing to ranking filers, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think I saw Haramufuji say that he has no plans on retiring himself, but obviously if the Japan Sumo Association says otherwise, he's probably going to be retiring.
This is a pretty big black mark on the record.
Definitely, and not what you like the last Yokozuna I would expect it from. Haramufuji, from what we've seen in the dojo, always seems like the nicest guy. He's always protecting the other.
Last Basho, he was at maybe Tochiozan?
Tochiozan, I want to say.
He had like this brutal throw, but like kind of like scooped at the last second to keep his head from hitting the ground.
Yep, and he's always like pulling the rikishi so they don't fall off the dojo. And from all accounts, it sounds like Haramufuji's just a grand old guy. So this is kind of the last person you'd expect it from, but
I think performance-wise, he's clearly past the peak. The aging curve in sumo seems to be like your early 30s are kind of where it seems to go. But I think performance-wise, he can stick around. But for me, it seems like I think the line to cross would be getting arrested. Yeah, I think if he's arrested, that's the point where it's like, okay, yeah, we're done screwing around. This is a scandal. You have to retire.
I think he can survive this if he doesn't end up getting arrested. But if that does happen, he's
yeah.
done.
Can you imagine him like getting walked out to a police car out of his Heya or something like that? That would be yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah, and so I don't know that there's too much more we could say on this. Like I said, there's a lot of different information flying around about this, but I do want to give kind of Flarik the final word on this one because Hiromufuji was always his favorite since we started watching sumo wrestling. So I kind of want to get his thoughts on like what your impressions are of Hiromufuji now, and does this affect your fandom of him?
That's a good question. I'm very, very sad, I will say. And I don't know. Like, I still enjoy his sumo, but it's going to probably not be the same anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I firmly believe, like, no, to take the step towards actually hurting someone, that's just not in my nature. So I have a hard time kind of relating with that. I know these guys are people who kind of cultivate that because they have to, like, fight each other, like, for 15 days straight, six times out of the year. But ultimately,
plus the Jungyo tour and all
plus
the other stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So it maybe a little bit aggression could be understood, but I still think attacking someone is just not. It's
So
not good.
you're saying you do think less of him personally after
do.
this incident, regardless of the outcome? Yeah, I can see that.
Definitely.
Yeah, but his sumo I still enjoy.
Yeah.
So come on the fence with the whole. If I want him to retire, it's actually I just don't know. It's a kind of a conflict with myself.
I think we're as fast as the scandal has moved so far. It came out on day 2. We're recording this on day 7, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I mean, this 5 days. There's been so much news, so many rumors.
Yeah,
And it
this
keeps
podcast
changing.
will have spoilers through day 7. So
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I think no one really knows what the facts are, and so luckily there's an investigation, and so hopefully they'll actually get all the facts out, and we can just kind of go with that judgment from there.
unfortunately, we won't know anything definitive probably until hopefully before the next Basho. But
You mentioned that the Sumo Association is keeping it.
they're not gonna really do anything or announce anything during the Kyushu Basho.
They're letting the
Okay.
Basho continue, and then stuff will get moving. Okay,
But the police,
so just rumors till then.
the police might not follow that. I will say.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good point.
No.
Yeah.
The police do what they have to do legally.
Yep. All right, so we'll put a little bow on the Harumagazi scandal, and we're gonna talk about what we want to talk about now, which is the actual results of the Basho. Just kind of a quick rundown after day 7. Hakuho is the sole leader at 7-0, and he is backed up by 5 Rikshi at 6-1, Aminishiki, Ichinojo, Arawashi, Hokuto Fuji, and Okinoumi. And so just kind of want to get anybody's thoughts on what's going on so far.
I think Hakuho, obviously, he's the favorite until he starts to show, significant decline. But of the other guys, I think Hokuto Fuji is showing. He's impressing me a lot here. He's probably my vote for Jun Yusho at this point in the Basho. What do you guys think? Do you think he can keep up?
I think he's definitely going to keep pace a little bit, but I'm still not counting out Kisano Sato. I mean, he's been having a little bit of trouble, but remember, he's still a Yokozuna. I mean, he can still pull a lot out of the bag and still perform really well. I'm still not counting him out yet.
He does. I mean, he has 3 losses. So, I mean, for him to win, he would have to have Hakuho lose 2 other times before they face each other. I agree with you. He's got a lot of heart, and he could potentially do it. But I mean, counting on Hakuho to lose in order for your own chances is a risky bet.
But if Aki has taught us anything,
That's a good
do
point.
not assume it's over until it's over.
That's a very fair point. Yeah, I kind of for the Jun Yusho race, I don't think Hokuto Fuji has faced like the most of the big guys. I know he just beat Kisano Sato, so that's obviously a very good win, but I think he still has Hakuho on day 8. I believe he still has both of the Ozeki he needs to face. So he's definitely got to be going through the grinder pretty soon. Jun Yusho, for me, I look at a guy like Okinoumi or Aminishiki, something like that.
We're going to get there on that.
Yeah. 2 guys that are kind of towards the bottom of the Makuuchi standings that are performing very well. It's not like they're winning and their sumo doesn't look good. Their sumo looks fantastic, both of them, and they're going up against lesser competition. So I think both of those guys can keep their numbers up for the long haul.
And Amini Ishiki, he's 39. Isn't he the oldest competing rikishi right now?
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
Was one of our fun facts for the beginning of the basho. He's the oldest to return to Makuuchi after being bumped down since at least the 20s.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we all wrote him off as like he's not going to do well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, which is just fantastic.
I don't know that we've seen him in Makuuchi since we started watching.
Yeah, I'll take a quick look, see when that was.
Okay, yeah. I at least I don't remember seeing him at all, but he's definitely been very impressive. I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I'm not 100% a huge fan of his style of sumo. I know he's an older guy, so he's probably got to be a little bit more shifty, but he's definitely more passive, his sumo. It definitely seems like he's kind of lets the people charge at him, and then he'll kind of step to the side, slap them down, sort of thing. But that being said, he's still performed very well.
Yeah, it was May last year that he got injured.
Okay, so yeah,
we have never seen him before. Okay. But yeah, I agree. He's very I think crafty would be my word that I would use to describe him. He and Takekaze are both very, they don't have the athleticism that a lot of the other guys do. But Takekaze uses a lot of movement, whereas I think Amanishiki uses a lot of just technique and, I wouldn't say dirty moves, but he uses all sorts of crafty stuff to get people to overextend.
Yeah. Yeah, and another big story for this basho, it's not as bad as the Aki crisis, but there's definitely a few injuries that have jumped up, making us look silly. Kakuryu pulled out before the Kyushu basho, but he waited just long enough to make us all sound like dumbasses after we recorded our preview episode. We had also discussed Ura. It sounded like at the time when we recorded that he was going to participate, and I had set the over-under on 2.5 days. I was the only one who took the under, so I think I deserve a little bit of praise for that.
Not from us, but
good try.
I will give myself a nice hearty pat on the back.
We did also get news within the last couple of days that he is confirmed to be getting surgery.
Yes,
Good.
Which we are all very happy about.
Yeah, it'll take him a little while to get back to the top ranks, but it's what he needed to do.
Yeah. And as we discussed earlier, Takanoiwa pulled out before the basho, and then during the basho, Aoyama pulled out after day 3. It looked like he...
that was a bad fall.
Yeah, he rolled up his ankle pretty badly. But as of this recording, it sounds like he will be back on day 8 to try to kind of cushion his drop. I mean, we assume he's going to drop. He might just kind of come back and roll off 7 straight wins or 8 straight wins and get a winning record.
Yeah, we'll see. Apparently, he said there was a snapping sound with his injury with ankle.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
Yeah, so we'll see when he comes back how well he will do.
Yeah.
I did watch that a few times and actually saw his ankle go at a very disgusting angle, so it doesn't surprise me that he heard a crunch or snap.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that note, though, Tamawashi had one of those. Was it against Takayasu, the one match in Aki where both guys had to get some help getting out? But yeah, he rolled his ankle pretty bad, but he's not looking too bad this time.
No, he's looking really good so far this time. He's got a 5-2 record. He beat Kisano Sato on day 1, I believe, and he also beat Hiruma Fuji.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Hiruma Fuji one was the day when
Technically, it
Hiruma
wasn't
Fuji
a
was
gold
huge.
star.
So yeah,
I don't think he's getting that raise for that Kimboshi.
But yeah, I'm very curious how he does, because if he doesn't win out, he's unfortunately going to probably drop down to Jungyo or Juryo. So
Yeah, he's at 11 for this basho. So
if he comes back, gets 5 or 6, and ends up with like 6 or 7, he can definitely stay in Makuuchi. But
Yeah,
He'll be low ranked. But
I would agree he's in the danger zone for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. If this ankle is hampering him a whole lot and he can't get any power and he just continues to lose, he'll definitely drop down to Juryo.
He is one of those guys that uses a lot more upper body with his thrusting style, and I do think that a healthy Aoyama is a better talent than rank 11.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I think that even if he can't get all the mobility, which is kind of a silly thing to say for a guy that big, but if he doesn't have his normal mobility, he still has a chance to get a couple wins.
Yeah. And speaking of large men with lower body injuries that are going to have a precipitous drop in the rankings, Teruno Fuji.
Yikes.
Yeah, he came in and lost 5 straight matches, pulled out on day 6, so he is going to be ending up with basically an 0-15 record at the Sekewake rank. I can't imagine that they're going to just drop him down to Komosubi. So yeah, Teruno Fuji is going to be dropping down the rankings. I'd imagine 3, 4, 5-ish would be my guess.
Something like that. I think he would stay in that zone of death, the top 3.
It depends on what happens around there, yeah.
Yeah, and it also depends. I guess we don't know for certain if 0-5 and 10 versus 0 and 15 are those exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you given a little bit of deference if you're a former Ozeki who's injured for twice as much as you're actually losing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame to see a guy who, I believe it was back in March, was at the top of his game and was in the Yusho. He won the June Yusho for that March Basho, but then that knee injury just brought him down. He seemed like a real promising guy. He kind of had his ascension before we started watching. I know he won a Yusho, but yeah, doesn't seem like that knee injury is getting any better, so who knows what we're going to see from Teruno Fuji in the future.
I have to say, I even though I enjoyed Koto Shogeku's victory over him, I feel like it was somewhat tainted because we all know that he's injured and he's not performing to his best. Granted, victory's a victory. However, still not as sweet as it could be.
It's going to be a little bit of a sweet revenge every single time that Koto Shogoku beats Teruno Fuji until the end of time.
Without a doubt.
But
this one, not as sweet as it could be.
And I mean, I'm not saying that this would happen, but if for some reason Teruno Fuji's knee never gets better and he has to retire from sumo, and I don't even think that's a likelihood, but Kodi Shogoku would have the last win where he actually wrestled in Teruno Fuji's career.
Yeah, Teruno Fuji's still pretty young, so I think he's. I'm hoping it's just like a down year, and then he comes back in 2018 healthy, and gets back to the level that his talent would actually put him at.
Yeah, I think he said something like he seems to have the mind he needs to get healthy. He said I have to believe in myself, even if I drop in ranks, that I'm good enough to get back to the top.
Yeah,
and I believe, like you said, he's definitely
we all agree with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's got the talent and the potential.
We've seen people like Amanishiki. Ooh,
that one was pretty good. Yeah,
he obviously had a serious injury where he dropped quite a bit in the rankings. He's gotten back up to Makuuchi. I know Tochinoshin had an injury where I think he dropped down to like Makushita. Something.
Yeah, a number of years ago.
Yeah, and so he's worked his way back. So it's definitely possible for Teruno Fuji, and we here at Grand Sumo Breakdown are wishing him the best of luck. So what other surprises or just kind of observations have you guys seen during the spa show?
I was going to bring this up that Dayamami has kind of been letting me down.
Yeah.
He's only got 2 wins so far. The only reason I think he's letting me down, I mean, he's doing just fine for himself with his first time here in the top division, but I think we've been spoiled. I think we've been spoiled with guys like Hokuto Fuji and Taka Keisho, Mitake Yumi. Like, the most recent crop of youngsters have just been awesome. Oh, no show even. Ura, if he stayed healthy. But, most of the time that in the last year where we've been watching, when youngsters come up, it's because, they're kicking ass and they make their way up towards the top. But Dayamami, maybe it's just, an off basho. Maybe he'll come back. But I usually my expectation when guys get into Makuuchi is that it's because they're doing great. But he's kind of let me down a little bit so far. Probably just my own expectations.
Yeah, and I think we're all disappointed that it looks like he's going to drop down to Juryo, so we're not going to have a chance to talk about the fantastic name Dayamami.
It is one of the better ones.
The upcoming basho, yeah. Anybody else got any big notes from this basho? All right. Well, for me personally, 2 people we talked about a lot in the preview episode, Onosho and Asanoyama, who were like, hey, these guys look pretty good. Are they going to continue their rise and just kind of break through the ranks? And no, they are not.
Onosho,
yeah. Onosho won his first match. Who was his first match against?
First match was against Haruma Fuji.
All right, yeah, he beat Haruma Fuji in his first match, and I'm like, yes, got a big win against a Yokozuna. He's picking up right where he left off, and now he's lost 6 straight because he's overextending and gets slapped down every single match, or just slips.
Yeah,
which was a big problem.
I've got
for
a couple
early.
of the slips there. This
he slipped 2 days in a row, didn't he?
Yeah, he slipped twice in a row, and there were 6 slips between the first 3 days of the basho.
Yeah, just overall for all Rikshi in the Makuuchi division. But it looks like the slipping has stopped.
Yes, I haven't seen any more since then.
Yeah, and kind of what we've learned is like the clay is still new at the beginning of the basho, and it takes like a few days for it to kind of get worked in where it's more steady, and people aren't going to be slipping on it more often.
One last quick note on Onosho, though. He beat Harumafuji, but since then he's lost every match, but every single one of those matches has been somebody ranked above him.
Okay.
The lowest ranked guy that he fought was Sekiwaki.
Okay.
So Komusubi and the Zone of Death, the top 3 Megashira, they have a awful first week.
Yeah.
Because of the schedule. Those are the guys that the Yokozuna and the Ozeki are getting for their opening matches to get their record pumped up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that Onosho recovers from this because he's running out of guys that are veterans ranked above him. He's running out of guys like those to get his butt kicked by.
But he is guaranteed to not continue his streak of 10-win bashos, which I think is disappointing. And somebody else, Asanoyama, who kind of burst onto the scene at Megashira 16 at the last basho, is 2-5, not looking anything special at Megashira 11. Hopefully he picks that back up because I know we're all fans of him. But I think that's going to kind of wrap up our main mid-basho talk. So we're going to take a quick break and come back, talk about how our predictions are looking, and get to our patent-pending lightning round.
Today's Rikishi is always on the go. Now it's easier than ever to get the calories you need to stay big, bad, and in charge. Chanko Cubes pack all the hearty goodness of homemade chankonabe into an easy-to-eat capsule. Who has time to roll dozens of chicken meatballs, chop pounds of bok choy, and spend hours stirring it all together over a hot stove? Simply pop 2 14-inch cubes for every meal, and you'll gain 2 pounds overnight. Guaranteed. Up your weight and your sumo game with Chanko Cubes. Try yours for half off now using the code Grand Sumo Breakdown. Chanko Cubes, nutrition on the go. Physician's note: it is not advisable for human beings to eat a full Chanko Cube.
All right, welcome back. We're just going to kind of give everybody an update on where we are for predictions, kind of give you an idea of who we expect to be singing a custom song at the review episode. And spoiler alert, it kind of looks like it might be Mac.
I'm already warming up my vocalizer. You will all be impressed with my singing.
Well, I've got a couple songs warmed up for you, so when I take the crown this time, I will let you know.
And it actually looks like Jake may take the crown. As it stands now, we all have 1 point because each of us hit our Kinboshi prediction. I had Takakeisho along with Fleric. Jake had Hokuto Fuji, and Mac had Tamawashi. Fleric and I both hit our tiebreaker because I had Takakeisho beating Harumafuji, and Fleric had a beating Kisano Sato, and he did both. So Takakeisho has been impressing with 2 Kinboshi.
Hell of a run
tournament.
there.
Yeah.
So as it stands now, Fleric and I are tied for the lead. But if you dig a little deeper, Jake and Fleric have Hakuho selected as their Yusho winner. Kind of looks like that's an inevitability at this point, so that's going to give both of them a 3-point buffer over Mac and I. And then it just comes down to where we were at for Kachikoshi and Makikoshi picks and special prize picks, and it looks like Jake may have a slight advantage there.
I've got Hokuto Fuji for a special prize, and I wouldn't call him a lock by any means, but he's certainly
got Takakeisho, though.
Those two are definitely in the running.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's looking like it's going to come down between Jake and Fleric for the winner and Mac and I for the loser. But who knows? Anything could happen. We still have...
Remember Aki.
Yeah.
Remember Aki.
We still have half a basho to go, so we could just all sound silly doing this. But let's move into our favorite segment, Jake's Fun Facts.
Jake's Fun Facts.
So we have an abridged version today. I got 3 of them for you. First off, we're going to cover Juryo real quick. There's 3 guys in the lead in Juryo, all of them at 6-1. We have this is my first try at this one. Kyoku Taisei, I think.
Taisei? Don't listen to me, though.
I was about to say. Wait,
I am not the authority.
Wait a minute here.
You nailed Amanishiki the first time
I'll give you credit
in the
for
career
that.
today, though. Yeah, all right. We have Hideno Umi, who you may know of. He was
I
in
do not know of.
Makuuchi for one basho last fall.
Oh.
And so Kokurai, who...
The chicken farmer.
That one we know.
The chicken farmer.
Kokurai.
Yeah, he's been in Makuuchi for a while here. But all 3 of those guys are in the lead at 6-1. Behind them, we have another former Megashira, Yutakayama, and up-and-comer Abi at 5-2 for those
Go
guys.
Abigail!
Abigail, yeah, there you go. One of our longtime favorites, Ishiura, unfortunately is at 3-4, so he's going to have to turn that around.
But if he does pull out a winning record, he's pretty much guaranteed a bump up to Makuuchi since he has Juryo 1.
Exactly, yeah. So he has he would almost certainly be
He
back.
probably hasn't faced any of the winners yet. He'll easily wipe the floor with them.
Of course.
He'll be the Yusho winner, and everything will be right with the world.
He lost a couple times to keep it dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He just wants the fans to have a good show.
A guy with trapezius muscles like that can't lose on purpose.
Exactly.
Next fun fact. We're going to take a look at the youngsters that we've been following recently. American Waka Ichiro is sitting at 1-2 right now.
Oh no.
Not great, but he's still got 4 matches to go. He could get up to 5-2 if he wins out.
You can do it.
We also have Enho, Hakuho's protege, who went 7-0 3 times in a row to open his career. He did finally lose.
No.
Who did he lose to?
He actually lost to Joe Koryu, the guy who was the previous 21 club. Yeah, the guy that he was ranked opposite of, who also went 7-0 3 times to start his career.
That's really funny.
But he has won twice since then. So he's at 2-1. The other one in Jurio, sitting at the bottom of Jurio, is Yago, the other guy that we've been keeping an eye on his rise. He's currently at 4-3.
All right.
Okay.
2 of those losses are to former Megashira. So,
Okay.
that, respectable.
Understandable then.
Yeah. So those guys, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on them. We'll keep updating them until we realize that they've hit their ceiling and grow bored of them. but for the time being,
sounds about
we'll
right.
keep
We
at
will
them.
toss them away and find new.
The other fun fact I have for you is 2 new terms that we learned relating to a match, Hakuho and Tochiozan. Ryan, you want to tell us about these?
Yeah, so kind of an interesting thing. What's the first term? Like the false start, but not really a false start?
Jikan Mei, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Jikan Mei or Jikan Mai. Hakuho decided to get a little head start on the match with Tochiozan, where the Gyoji was standing sideways to the Rikshi, which kind of signifies that the match isn't really ready to go. But if both guys kind of decide, hey, we're ready, we're going to do this, they can go, and the match is legit. Hakuho was ready. Tochiozan wasn't, so Hakuho just kind of ran at Tochiozan, slapped him across the face, pushed him out of the dojo, just for funsies, because it didn't count. They had to do it all
The
over.
look on the
basically-
Gyoji's face was priceless.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Which apparently that's something that happens a lot more down in the lower divisions, but it's something that's not really seen very much in Makuuchi.
Yeah, there's a set amount of time for guys to, walk back and forth, give each other stare downs, toss the salt, things like that. They have a set amount of time, and they can go as long as they both put both their fists down and actually consent to starting. By all means, they're allowed to do that. But when the time runs out, the Gyoji turns and faces straight onto them and holds the fan up, and that's like, okay, enough messing around. It's time to go. And that's when Makuuchi matches start.
Okay.
Usually.
But
This time, Hakuho decided to get in Tochiozan's head a little bit, and he went early.
yeah, when Hakuho's involved, Makuuchi matches get started when Hakuho decides they get started.
Exactly, unless they're a mata.
The Yokozuna. Do you think it was on purpose then by Hakuho?
We actually dug into this a little bit.
Okay.
Ryan, in particular, looked up the history between these two, and we're pretty sure Tochiozan spit in Hakuho's beer or something like that.
Something had to have happened.
Yeah, because I just reading the comments on r/sumo. It sounds like Hakuho has a little bit of history of being rough with Tochiozan, so I kind of looked into it, just like some of their more recent matches, and I didn't see anything like too egregious or anything by Hakuho, but it does look like he gives a very special forearm shiver to Tochiozan at the Tachiai of all their recent matches, at least.
Like a Takayasu forearm shiver? That aggressive?
I mean, pretty much, Takayasu pretty much just destroys you with his shoulder, but Hakuho just kind of wails on him.
Almost an elbow.
Yeah.
Almost an
Yeah.
elbow hit.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So yeah, that happened, and then at the end of the match, for Fun Fact 3, he gave Tochiozan just a little unnecessary extra push, which we learned is termed a Dame Oshi, and basically what it means is just making sure. Just kind of extra little insurance just to make sure that I
was
won.
clearly out, though.
Gee, he's just making sure.
Just making sure.
Just gotta make sure.
Your ankles look healthy. I just want to make sure that they get broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of the ring.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't use the ankles, I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're not going to work right.
I also saw that the term, I think, is sometimes used over in baseball over there, just like kind of insurance runs. Hey, we're up 2-1. Let's get 3, 4, 5 runs just to make sure we win this one.
Just making sure.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I have noticed Hakuho has a bit of a mean streak. Tochiozan in particular, we're going to start watching that one, I
Yeah,
guess. But
yeah.
I think we saw that he's like 35-2 or something like that against Tochioza.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's like a big brother, little brother situation or something like that.
Who doesn't have like a not insane losing record to Hakuho? That's the question.
Probably like the other Yokozuna.
Yeah,
That's
like
probably it.
Harumafuji, maybe Asashoryu.
Yeah.
Those are the only guys I can think of. Maybe Kakuryu. I don't know. I just imagine Hakuho dominates him.
Yeah.
Though. We haven't seen them face each other enough.
That's a good
Kakuryu
point.
hasn't made it to enough. I'm trying to think, have we actually ever seen Hakuho and Kakuryu finish the same basho since we started where they
I'll
would
take a look
face
here.
off?
Considering
face each other?
Kakuryu won the first basho we started watching, and Hakuho wasn't participating then, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure Hakuho pulled out of that
Yeah.
one. So while Jake looks that up, we're going to kind of set up our lightning round, our patent-pending lightning round, the innovation that we thought of during the last basho.
Grand Sumo Breakdown patent pending lightning round.
Okay, so they did
so
face
you-
They
each
did
other.
face each other.
And he got the Yushu off.
All right, so after a little bit of
should look
research,
up that
it
match.
does look like Kakuryu did beat Hakuho back in November. I was wrong. They did not. Hakuho did not pull out of that basho. But like I said, we're going to now move on to our patent-pending lightning round. All right, so we're going to start over to my left, and we're going to go with Mac. And who has impressed you the most so far?
Thus far, it's been Arawashi. He's had some great decision-making. He's done some excellent matches and shown some pretty good technique.
I'm going to take Amanashiki. I think I kind of underestimated him because of his age, but he's been impressing me.
Oh, yeah.
I will go with Amnishiki as well. It's for the exact same things. I counted him off entirely when he came into this basho, but he's been impressing me with his wins.
I'm going to go with Takakeisho. He's got the 2 Kimboshi in this basho. He's been looking good against the big boys, and so I mean, we got a new person in Sanyaku ranks coming up with him. Going to go the opposite direction, start with Fleric this time. Who's disappointed you the most?
Other than the obvious Parma Fuji, I'm going to go ahead and say Asaso Oyoyan.
Try
go to the
again.
hospital.
Asa no Yama.
Yeah.
You did it.
There's a lot of buzz during the Jungyo, the regional tour before the basho, that he was facing off against all the Yokozuna as personal training partners, and he was doing pretty good. He has just not been showing the wins as well, so it makes me just really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say either Onosho or Asanoyama, but I'm going to take Asanoyama because he's been facing guys like around his own rank.
Yeah.
Onosho's been losing to the big boys.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tochiozan. Like if
yeah.
you're ranked as a Magashira 2, you still have to be doing better than this. At least putting up a little bit more of a fight. The match between Hakuho and him, okay, that one was understandable, but
It's Hakuho.
yeah, it's Hakuho. You don't mess with the king.
Just for some context there, Tochiozan is 0-7, the only person with a winless record that started the basho.
Yeah, that's the only one that's wrestled 7 times and
yeah.
lost all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, Onosho, he's a big favorite of ours here, and just he's been so close in a lot of these matches with the upper rank guys. He's just been overextending and being slapped down. So hopefully he can learn from this. He'll drop down the rankings, we assume, unless he pulls out 7 straight victories or 8 straight victories. Yeah, but yeah, disappointed start for him so far. Gonna start with me on this one. My favorite match of the basho so far, I definitely have to go with Amanashiki versus Dayamami. It was a match where Dayamami had Amanashiki. I'm going to say that as many times as I can because it sounds like I got it down now. Amanashiki,
You're
Amanashiki,
doing it.
Amanashiki. Dayamami had him on the ropes the entire time. He was up against the hay bales. He couldn't push him out, and then Amanashiki just kind of steps to the side, throws him out with a little ole move, and it was very impressive comeback. What about you, Jake?
A lot of swagger on that one.
Yeah.
My favorite so far is Mitakayumi versus Onosho. This one was great forward-moving sumo. They had Mitakayumi moved all the way back to one edge, then Onosho moved all the way back to one edge, and they went back and forth a couple times. It was just super dramatic. That's got to be my favorite one so far. Mitakayumi came up with the win, and that was on day 6.
I will go with on day 3. It was Arawashi versus Tochinoshin. It's 2 sumo wrestlers who have a very similar style where they go for the Mawashi grips and just try to throw each other, and it was just very exciting. I enjoyed it.
And for me, it was on day 5. Kisuno Sato versus Shohozan. Shohozan came right off the Tachiai, caught Kisuno Sato on his heels, controlled Kiseno Sato for the entirety of the match, got him right up to the edge, and then Kiseno Sato just kept his feet twisted and fell on top of Shohozan out of the ring and won.
Yeah, he wasn't winning until the last third of a second of the entire match.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much the same as the Yamashiki
It was
match.
very
Right.
impressive.
Yeah. All right, and we're going to start with Jake for probably the most lightning of all lightning rounds. Who do you think is going to win this Basho?
Hakuho.
Hakuho.
Hakuho?
Hakuho.
All right.
Moving
and
on.
Yeah, we're going to start with Jake again and say, what are you looking
I get
forward
another
to
turn.
the most?
All right.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most?
What I am looking forward to the most is, other than Harumafuji and Kakuryu, the top ranks are healthy.
Kiseno Sato is healthy in quotation marks.
Yeah. I guess in particular, I'm referring to Hakuho, Takayasu, Goedo, three of the top four, and they are all performing well. They're all Takayasu, maybe 90%, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not quite 100.
He's looking better than I expected.
But he's looking much better. I was really worried after last Basho that he'd be a serious one. But no, I think we have a lot more health at the top than we used to, which is kind of funny considering we have three guys, Sekiwaki or above, who are not wrestling.
What about you, Mac?
For me, I'm excited to see how high Takakeisho can go. He's shown some impressive displays of sportsmanship ability and talent. I just want to see if he can keep it up, and hopefully, maybe we're looking at a future Yokozuna. Time will tell.
Yeah, and mine's going to be in very much the same vein as Max. I just want to see how far Hokuto Fuji can push his winning streak. He's 6-1. He's got a big match against Hakuho. If he wins that, he's very much in Yusho contention. I don't think he will, for the record.
It's Hakuho.
It's Hakuho.
But the point stands.
But the point stands. If he can pull it out, he's very much in contention for the Yusho. And his match against Chiyo no Kuni, which was another very good match, I was cheering for Hokuto Fuji to win it like I cheer for my favorite football team and basketball team, which is kind of like the first time that's happened for me in sumo wrestling. So Hokuto Fuji has kind of awakened something in me even further for sumo wrestling. So
you have a home team now.
I have a home team. Hokuto Fuji, I'm putting my stamp on it. That is my boy. I am going to be with him until the very end. And I have come up with a nickname for him that everybody can steal. Hokuto Mount Fuji.
Oh,
it's
wow.
very, very clever, and I think
Completely original.
I'm very
I love it.
proud of that one.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see how far Hokuto Fuji can go.
Watch it be Hokuto Fuji Gazi next Basho.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Or 3 or 4 straight 4-11s, and he's never relevant again.
Well, yeah, and then
You just cursed him.
I'll immediately deny that this podcast ever happened.
You're right. We'll scrub it from the internet.
Yeah, just like my fandom of Ishiura.
Yeah, which we don't really like to talk about.
Yeah. All right,
No.
Clark, what are you most excited for?
All right, so there was an interview with Hakuho after he won the summer tournament, and they asked him, "You always promise something and fulfill on that promise. What promise will you give this time?" And he said, "My wife once said to me, if a person's word is sharp, the mind is deep. I promise to take my 40th Emperor's Cup this year." So I'm looking forward to him keeping his promise and getting
Good.
40 wins.
I
right.
can
I
see
like
that
that.
now.
Yeah. All right, and I think that's going to wrap up our mid-Basho review. If you like this podcast, be sure to give us a 5-star review on iTunes or your favorite podcast listening service.
Yeah, we are on Facebook at Grand Sumo Breakdown and Twitter at G Sumo Breakdown. We still have a naming contest for our little kind of sumo toy thing we're trying to figure out a name for. So give us some possible names.
Sounds like we've got a couple of people that have submitted some, but we'd love to get a few more in there.
Yep. You can check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com. You can find our fantasy league and other goodies.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, you can go ahead and email us at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com.
All right, and we should have our review episode for the Kyushu Basho up sometime around the 27th to 28th of November. We'll see you then.
Me. You will all enjoy my singing at that point.
Hopefully next time.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time, throw your salt high and keep moving forward.
Sound effects, edit out the sound effects.